Hi everyone, welcome to Books to Boardrooms with Dr. Kiran. Today we have Mr. David Boucher. He is the Chief Service Excellence Officer at Aster Healthcare. Mr. David, thanks for coming for this particular show. Can you just give me a little background about Aster DM Healthcare in UAE?
Sure. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Karen. It's an honor to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to share. So Aster DM Healthcare is a 30-year-old company, first started here by Dr. Mupin, hence the DM in our name, back over 30 years ago, started as a single clinic. Today we own and operate 26 hospitals across 7 countries, and we have over 20,000 Asterians, employees. In 2019 we saw actually over 20 million patients, so I try to remember those milestones are pretty significant. Here in UAE we have a total of 7 hospitals, 178 pharmacies, known as Aster Pharmacies. We have Aster Clinics, and we have the Medcare for Medcare hospitals. That's one of our brands, and 15 Medcare clinics as well.
Also, it's a pretty big group in terms of...
It's a large organization, and lots of opportunities.
So you are responsible for the service excellence in the UAE market?
At the corporate level, I'm responsible as Chief of Service Excellence for really setting the service excellence tone and driving our improvements for all 21,000 Asterians, including our hospitals in India, in the Bangalore cluster and the Kerala cluster. And so it's a fun job.
So I think I'm very fascinated with the Chief Service Excellence Officer. Nowadays, you know that customer centricity is going to be one of the key for organization to success. Is that the reason why Aster have this particular position of a Chief Service Excellence Officer? Does in healthcare service excellence does matter?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. So I think if we look back at our history over the last 30 or so years, our organization purchased a hospital, built a hospital, purchased, built, and grew, right? And so over time, and we had certainly the individual hospitals, individual units, we thought were doing a pretty decent job. And of course, repeat customers, repeat patients continues to be high. So you want to think that you're doing an admirable job in the whole service excellence. But increasingly, hospitals and hospital groups across the world are actually adding this position of Chief of Service Excellence. It's much more quantitative now than it ever has been before. We spend a significant amount of time measuring a Net Promoter Score, a patient expectation, what their expectation is, patient satisfaction. We focus a lot of time and effort and attention on Google ratings, very much, because it's a very competitive market. And all of our markets in which we serve are all very competitive. So it's much more quantitative, but it's also a lot about teaching, a lot about really establishing and developing a culture of service. And you're exactly right. And if we think about it, it's interesting the markets that we work in, most patients and their family members don't really want to go to a hospital. Think about that, unless the hospital happens to have a really good restaurant or a really good outpatient pharmacy or a really good gym and a fitness center or something wellness that's attached to it. So it's significantly different than, say, a fine hotel or a resort, right, where people pay their money and they want to go. Most patients don't want to go to the hospital. So increasingly, we believe that the differentiating factor in healthcare, not only here in UAE, but worldwide, is going to be in service. So we assume, as consumers, as patients, we assume that when we go to a doctor, we go to a hospital, whether for lab tests, for x-rays, for surgery, that the quality has been measured, the quality has been tested, and all of that. And it has. And I think we do a really good job with clinical excellence. I think most of the hospitals in UAE probably do as well. But the differentiating factor then becomes service. Service and price then become the 2 differentiators. And so we are laser focused on improving, measuring, and then improving our service excellence.
Yeah, I think at one point of time, if I am sick, I have no option but to go to a hospital. So I don't even care whether I go to X or Y hospital because I have to go to a hospital. So the service was not taking the first step. But now when you're saying that there are major groups coming in every country, I mean, then everyone is having the same ophthalmologist or general physician or gynecologist, then the differentiation is going to be the service level. Price definitely is one factor, insurance another factor.
Sure.
So,
and I would add, Dr. Karen, I think that increasingly we're attracting more and more medical tourists, or MVT, medical value travelers. That's increasingly becoming here to Dubai. And why not, right? This is an excellent community. It's an excellent city, great food, great people, not a lot of crime, right? So it's just literally lends itself, great hospitals, great doctors, great nurses, and the list goes on and on and on, but really a pretty good value for those dollars as well. When we think about it in terms of we've got 2/3 of the world's population within an 8-hour flight. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Aster is very involved with telemedicine, so even though 2/3 of the world's population is within an 8-hour flight, an Aster or Medcare physician is within about 34 inches. That's the length of the human arm to touch a mouse and have a visit with one of our either primary care physicians or specialists through the internet. So all of that is part of the patient journey.
So definitely health tourism is also playing a very important role when it comes to looking at a customer service excellence, because that's a lot of, as you told, Dubai is just 8 hours from anywhere in the world, most of the place. So to attract service excellence plays a very important role for customer choosing which hospital to go.
That's exactly, and on a global stage, that's a very, very competitive market. For the last couple of years, I worked at a very prominent hospital in Bangkok, Thailand, and they really set the stage. Back in 2019, they treated over 650,000 international patients. I served in a little bit of a different role on the whole business transformation side at that point. But over the years, I've learned in international healthcare that we're all consumers, right? And we generally are driven, and increasingly, because of transparency and digitization, we're driven, I think, by 3 things in this order. Safety first, right? We want ourselves and our families to go to a place that we feel, we believe, offers safe medical care, hospital care. The second is service, right? And the third is savings, is price. And, whether it's a 50 dirham out of pocket, versus 100 dirham out of pocket at a higher, better, my time in my life is worth 50 dirham to pay the little bit extra to have better service on the service excellence side.
So when you talk about service excellence, there are 2 components. One is the customer and the feedback from the customer, their experience and the journey. And then has to be a change in the organizational culture also, like, how 21,000 employees working for Aster. So how you drive or inculcate that service excellence as part of the deliverable, like for a doctor or a receptionist, or before it used to be like frontline workers, or receptionist supposed to do a customer service, but now it's doctors or a pharmacist or anyone, nurses. So how you build that culture within the whole ecosystem so that they understand the importance of service excellence and customers experience the service excellence. So what is the strategies you adopt for doing that?
That's an excellent question. And while I won't give away the secret sauce, we'll have a private conversation in your classroom perhaps to do that. It's not an easy task, but it starts one employee at a time. You're absolutely right, because if we don't change the culture, if we don't improve the culture with our employees, with our contracted services, with our physicians, with our administrators and managers and stuff, then it doesn't. That's the start, right? So we believe that if we take care of our employees, we take care of our Asterians, they in turn will increasingly do a better job in taking care of our patients and our customers. And so that's where it starts. It's hard work. There's no pixie dust. I can't wiggle my nose and have magic happen. And so part of that starts right here. And it starts with Dr. Azad Mupin and Alicia Mupin, our managing director and deputy managing director. And it really starts at the top. And it has to be pervasive. We have to be passionate about delivering an over-the-top experience at every one of our healthcare institutions. We have to have an absolute attention to detail. We have to have a sense of urgency that most healthcare organizations worldwide haven't had. But we're doing it. And I continue to, in a fun way with our staff, remind, using a couple of now aged books. They're 20 years old. One was First Break All the Rules by the Gallup organization. And sometimes organizations and employees become so paralyzed because they don't want to break a rule. Well, I would never suggest that any of our employees or doctors do anything against medical advice to harm. That's not what I'm referring to. But policies and procedures, if someone, and I use this word, when somebody first thing in the morning says to me, Mr. David, I have an idea. that is the best way to start a day, because you have my time and attention right then. Because every idea, every employee matters, every idea matters. Might be a home run, might be a fabulous $1 million idea, but it might be a $1,000 idea. And it takes only a few of those to start to add up, right? The whole is greater than the sum of the parts from a synergy perspective. So first break all the rules is one. And the other one, I've recently purchased a number of these books online in the US, and I'm giving them away one by one. And that is a reminder that it's not the big that eat the small, it's the fast that eat the slow. And we have, if you've had an experience with Astra or Medcare, then, or one of our pharmacies, then you may know this. But I'm banging the drum internally that we need to get a whole lot faster. Our service needs to get a whole lot better before we get a whole lot bigger. And that's my personal mantra. We've got to quicken the pace. Things take too long, and we know that, and we've accepted that, and we're starting to change. So,
I think it's good to know that Astor and you having the vision of making the service to the next level. So when I ask the same question in a different way, so you being a Chief Service Excellence Officer, so when it comes to the people and the culture, a lot to do with the HR department of the organization. And then when it comes to consumer or the patients coming in, it's to do with the marketing, because they need to come in. So that means you are coordinating with these two other major two entities in terms of driving the service excellence to the customers and to the employees?
That's a great question. Yeah, absolutely. And I meet on a fairly routine basis with human resources specifically for that. So it all starts about, number one, identifying the right kind of associate that we want to be an Asterian, then the recruiting, and then the training and orientation and onboarding process as well. But then when the employee gets in the work area, they've got to have supervisors, managers, and directors that also have the same passion for it, that don't say, the old guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, that's not going to work, right? And so one of the things that I try to remind our HR staff, and I try to share with all new employees, is that when you agree to become employed by Medcare, Astra, pharmacies, clinics, or whatever, I know that you have choices. You could work anywhere you want, potentially, right? So I want to be crystal clear that we don't hire new employees to work for us. No, we hire new employees to partner with us on this whole journey of improvement. And it's a journey, and every day is an adventure. And you know, sometimes our jobs, whether we're registering patients behind a desk, whether we're in housekeeping, whether we're in nursing, whether we're an ultrasonographer, we may see 40, 50 patients a day, but each of that patient is the first time that they've seen you, right? So we have to generally be happy. We have to have a smile on our face, even with a mask on, right? And so that's really important, that we hire those kind of employees that want to join us in this journey of service and clinical excellence. And it's not easy, but we've identified, we know what we need to do to attract the right people. We know what we do to train the right people. And then it's just getting it done. It's just basic blocking and tackling every day.
That's great. So if I may ask you as a consumer or a patient, what are the various key service excellence factors that Astor offer? Tell me, what are the key areas where you focus, which help? Is it the waiting period, reducing your waiting period, or the way the customer sits, or the different type of service availability? So what makes Astor so special, or to improve the service excellence?
Sure. Well, a lot of hospitals and a lot of healthcare organizations measure hundreds of different indicators, right? We are in the process of taking a page out of the Ritz-Carlton book, right? The Ritz-Carlton focuses on 20 indicators. They know that there's 20 different things that if they do very, very well, that their percentage occupancy in their hotels is going to be a lot higher, and the amount of revenue per room that they book out is going to be a lot higher as well. And so we know what those drivers are, right? We've gone through, I started with the company in mid-January. I'm 6 months in today, interestingly enough. And so we know what those are. We spent the first 6 months focusing intensely on measurement. Measure, find out, making sure that we've eliminated human and staff bias in the whole data collection process and everything else. And so we measure the patient expectation, right? What are your expectations? Did we meet your expectations when you came in? And did how overall, how was your patient satisfaction? And number 3, would you return? And number 4, would you recommend us, your Net Promoter Score, would you recommend us to friends and family? And so we are in all of our verticals now. Much of that process is digitized. One of our verticals will go live the last week of August, so we're about 5 or 6 weeks away. And so we monitor, believe it or not, it's like air traffic control. We have online real-time dashboards. And so if we have somebody who's waiting in the waiting area and they're trashing us on Facebook and they use our name, somebody in administration knows it. And the teaching then comes, you can't just say, well, it's a patient. You need to get up from your desk and you need to go down to the waiting area, the registration area, and talk to the patient, offer them a cold water, find out what the wait is, see if that can be eliminated, see if we can fast track the person. And so it's important.
So that means Aster is investing quite a lot in technology, because technology and dashboards are very important to get this whole real-time information. Because if information goes out, like somebody posts something really bad, they're not going to take it back. So, so before that, how you prevent it, or how do you minimize the damage in terms of, so how important is technology for collecting this customer feedback and analysis of this customer feedback?
Yeah, absolutely essential. And it's fun now, having done this with other organizations, we're starting to see the benefit of that. And so you go into many of our hospitals, you'll see the 5 smiley faces, from a smiley face to a frowny face. Other organization I've been a part, you can have a child sit there and hit a smiley face 10 times. We can't do that at Aster or Medcare, right? You have to put in your mobile phone number, and you get 1 shot, and we want your information. You can do, there's a free form text box. We do that. There's QR codes. If we have your mobile number and you've given us permission, we send you an SMS or an email. So we are working really, really hard to get our response rates up right now. That's where. And I continue to remind people, when we start this journey, when we start asking our patients and our consumers for their feedback, sometimes at the beginning, you have an ugly baby, right? The baby's, it's not going to be all glowing. We're going to hear some things that, because we have personal ownership in our organization, we may feel like as though, we have pride in that and everything else, but our consumers, our customers are telling us where we need to improve. But over time, our actual response rate will absolutely be increased and be driven higher if we listen to our customers. That's the key. A lot of organizations send things out, and then, they look at patterns, the food needs to be improved, the temperature of the rooms, whatever, the Wi-Fi didn't work so great. But if the consumers know that we're listening and responding, whether it's they want fresh magazines, more hand cleaning, fewer dust bunnies, whatever the issues are, a lot of our patients are repeat customers, and if they come back and see something that they've either suggested or complained about, they see that fixed, they're much more inclined the next time for inpatients, the average return rate is probably 75%. In the U.S., the average return rate on outpatient is probably 3.5 or 4%. Our goal is to be over 10%.
Okay.
And that's only going to happen if we listen, and that's the focus.
So you have a clear mechanism to listen, capture data, analyze data, take corrective actions, and even look at the feedback, how things are happening from the customers. Absolutely,
and we even go one step further, Dr. Karen, right? So in addition to that, if we have time frames, we have thresholds and triggers set up on everything. So if something that's really important doesn't get fixed, say within 1 hour, with the CEO's approval, the CEO gets a text on their message that this is still outstanding, okay. Right? And so, it's not a gotcha game. We educate everybody at the first that these 20 things, the secret sauce, these are really, really important, we think, to the patient journey. And if one of these aren't fixed right away, then the CEO is going to know about it. And that's just how, that's starting to work.
So you're going to achieve that service excellence. So do you have any sort of a rating agencies or a self-internal rating to say where you rate Aster as an overall in terms of service excellence from the customer feedback, and then what is the aspiration to like become a 3-star, 4-star, or finally reach a 5-star? So do you have anything, or it's a purely internal metrics which you will analyze based on the customer return, customer satisfaction, feedback from the customer, and it's only for your internal purpose? How does it work?
Another excellent question. And so we do. We have recently engaged the Gallup organization. Not sure if you're familiar with Gallup. They're the leader worldwide. and in really helping to measure. So they will be doing mystery shopping for us. They will be measuring the voice of the customer through text messaging, WhatsApp, and email. For hospitals to start off, it will be just hospitals in 2 of our countries where we manage, India and UAE. And so that's great. So the questions that will be asked will be identical, but of course in Kerala it will be in Malayalam in addition to English. Here it will be available in Arabic in addition to English and other languages as well. But that's going to give us the ability to really do international benchmarking, which is really critical in this, because we're no longer just a UAE organization, right? And so as medical value travel continues to grow for us, we are increasingly, we're performing on a global stage. And one of the things we haven't talked about is we've recently announced that we're building a new hospital and medical school in Grand Cayman, in the Cayman Islands. So it'll be our first entree into the Western Hemisphere. And that project has started. We've acquired land and we'll start the building process in the next couple of weeks. But even more important, to have a partner like Gallup who's helping us to measure and compare and benchmark the whole patient journey.
I think that it's great to know that even though Aster plays a very leading role in the healthcare in this market, you guys are still giving more importance service excellence, and that service excellence is going to be the differentiator. And the management, the CEO, and the whole team, including you, really want customers to come back, not just because you get better medical service, but also get an excellent service. Because people's mindset are not going to be the right when they come to hospital. They're sick, they're not feeling well. So giving that great opportunity or a great environment for them to feel good is one of the most critical part for patients to come back to the same hospital. I wish you all the very best. I'm sure you will be making the whole difference in or making a much better service excellence in Aster, and that will become a benchmarking for a lot of other hospitals across the world, and Aster gain a huge brand image in terms of service excellence going forward. Thanks for giving this great information about service excellence. As I told you, we see a lot of positions like CEOs and COOs, but first time or very few organizations have a service excellence chief executive officer. So it's great. I think I wish all the very best for you, and looking forward to hear from you what are the new things, what Aster is going, and whenever I visit next time, I will try to experience the same, and if there's anything different, I will definitely get in touch with you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks. It's great. I think I'm sure service excellence is one of the most important thing going forward. Customer centricity it's very important for organizational success. It cannot be neglected, and you know that even though your core is healthcare or any other aspects of business, but customer satisfaction and service excellence will make a huge difference in terms of creating a differentiation and success for your organization. So I think I've been happy to speak to Mr. David to get more insights into service excellence. I hope you all enjoyed the session. Till we come up with someone else, thanks a lot, and looking forward to meet you soon. Thank you.